The Sports Company of Trinidad and Tobago Limited and the National Agriculture Marketing and Development Corporation, SporTT and NAMDEVCO, have formalized an agreement to expand the locations for farmers' markets and provide nutrition advice and local fuel sustenance for athletes and by extension the nation. Now, to speak to the logistics and potential of that partnership, we have NAMDEVCO CEO Nirmalla Debysingh-Persad and Senior Manager Business Development Kairon Serrette. So we say thank you very much for joining us, folks. And no, we're starting off presuming that it is a win-win situation. So, Kairon, since you're on the screen, we ask you, what's in it for SporTT?
Hi, DK. Thanks for having us on the show. So the Sport Company of Trinidad and Tobago is, is very community oriented. Our facilities are housed in several communities around Trinidad and Tobago, and through partnership with NAMDEVCO, we've seen an opportunity for us to provide nutritious and healthy homegrown foods and produce to the members of our communities. Our engagement with NAMDEVCO started at the Gilbert Park facility, in Cuba, and we saw that there's opportunity for us to expand that. Through this partnership, we, as you mentioned earlier, we intend to leverage a lot of the resources that exist in NAMDEVCO, especially around educating the athletes in terms of proper nutrition habits and nutritional habits with regards to foods that are found locally in Trinidad and Tobago.
And Nirmalla, have you jump in on this? Thank you. How does NAMDEVCO benefit specifically from this partnership, this agreement?
So, apart from the ability to utilize more facilities that offer a lot of convenience for our 600 plus farmers to provide fresh, nutritious, and safe foods to the nation, it also provides market opportunities and opportunities for customers to visit facilities to purchase fresh fruits and vegetables in addition to value-added products. And it's very important because while COVID has provided a lot of challenges, it has also provided a lot of opportunities for the agriculture sector. This being one of the opportunities where we are able to now showcase some of the foods in Trinidad and Tobago that are affordable and have very dense nutrient components and that are not always eaten by all segments of our population. We also have the ability to work and do more justice to our food and nutrition security needs. By working with SporTT, we want to look at also mentorship programs where our sport athletes will help us to promote to our youths and other sectors of our population some of the more underutilized and nutritious foods, how they can eat it, how they can promote it. We're looking at all of the food groups that are available in Trinidad and Tobago, and especially our fruit food group. So we are looking at, partnering with SporTT, basically, as you said, to promote our local foods, to enhance and increase consumption of local foods, to create opportunities for research and development of our local commodities into value-added products that's going to meet and satisfy the health and the convenience needs of our consumers in Trinidad and Tobago.
No, I like the fact that both of you all spoke about opportunities. I'll stay with you for a moment, please, Nirmalla, because there's something that you said it twice in terms of there being foods or fruits or commodities, inputs that we have locally that people don't necessarily eat that much, so you want to train their taste buds. What are some of those things that you're thinking about specifically?
One of the things that I'm very passionate about is pawpaw. Pawpaw being a very readily available fruit, its production is so prolific, and we want our young children to be able to utilize more fruits that offer these rich antioxidant benefits and other very important mineral and nutrition dietary needs. So, I mean, one such thing to look at is many times we have children who just don't appreciate the taste of pawpaw. But, having our children demand pawpaw because of opportunities and systems, we're going to work with SporTT to this is just one of the commodities that we want more demand for. We have pawpaw farmers that are very, very good at what they do. And many times we see a lot of losses in terms of pawpaw at various points of sale because of the inability to attract the number of customers. Let me also say that our farmers are very, very good at producing and producing in large quantities. We want to stimulate that demand for local commodities so that it doesn't stay very long at the point of sale. We want to make points of sales more available in communities, in other districts, in other areas, under different conditions where it's a one-stop shop. You don't only come to buy fruits and vegetables, you can get value added products. You come, you visit a wonderful and exciting facility like what SporTT has to offer. And let me tell you, I was blown away by visiting some of their facilities. And it offers so much more potential for family oriented outings that not only benefit you from the shopping opportunities for fresh fruits and vegetables to enhance our health, but they offer so much more facilities in terms of health and well-being. And this is, one of, in my opinion, the most incredible opportunity that can come out of this coalition and this collaboration with SporTT.
And on that note, we bring Kairon back in because Kairon is one thing, because I like the fact that both of you all are talking about opportunities. It's one thing to see an opportunity. It's another thing to seize an opportunity and make it work. But both of you all have also spoken about community and building community. Why is that so important? And I'll say for SporTT, and then we unpack it a little bit.
So, thanks, DK. Yes, and as you said, it's one thing to see the opportunity, but the next thing to seize the opportunity. And if I'm to just go back in a little bit of history in terms of the genesis of the partnership, once it was put forward, I looked to my CEO on board, and then we brought it across to Nirmalla and her team. Everyone was in agreement that this is definitely an opportunity that we need to seize. From the community standpoint, I think it's also important for us to remember that, our line ministry being the Ministry of Sport and ComDev now, sport, SporTT and sport in general plays an integral role in closing that loop for health and wellness for the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. So we see this as an opportunity, again, to help advance that agenda. In addition to that, it's also a chance for us to educate both, as Nirmalla saying, the athletes, but then, the wider population. We have a situation, and so within the sport company of Trinidad and Tobago, we have several departments. So my department is business development, but our sports science and support unit, which is the elite development and performance unit, they're the ones who interface directly with the elite athletes and teams of the nation who are, a part of the program. And a lot of times you'll find that the professionals that work within that unit, would talk about the eating habits of these high-performing or aspiring high-performing athletes of the nation. And we realize that is a challenge. In addition to access being one of those challenges, we realize that education is another challenge that we need to, we need to see how best we could rectify. So looking at that, and again, the opportunity with NAMDEVCO, we just thought, well, this is almost perfect. Speaking to Nirmalla, and she's very knowledgeable. I know she's very passionate about the pawpaw and there are other foods that we can now, using some of the resources at the sport company, like our sport nutrition consultant, to help explain to athletes, when they should be eating these things, how and what quantities and so on, so that everybody wins. The athletes are now eating in a manner that allows them to perform better, to train better, and then represent Trinidad and Tobago better. So,
and I wanted to stick a pin there because I want to come back on this point after this break. We're speaking with Kairon Serrette and Nirmalla Debysingh-Persad about the partnership between NAMDEVCO and the SporTT. Stay with us. Welcome back. We are speaking about the partnership between, or the recent partnership between NAMDEVCO and the SporTT. And Kairon Serrette, I want to start back with you because you were talking about looking at the science of the food, dietary, nutrition, the fuel that goes into these elite athletes. What do you think is the impact of decentralizing your food supply to the point that, as opposed to just saying, okay, well, I got it from this area where all this food goes to, I'm getting it from a specific area and I know exactly what goes into it? Because it's one thing to say, okay, we're talking about pawpaw. It's one thing to say pawpaw. But if this batch, a certain chemical was used that may not show up on the label the way some things are packaged, how easy is it to go in and test and work with NAMDEVCO to say, okay, well, we're able to trace backwards because the food has been decentralized to such a point?
Well, I mean, that's a very interesting point, and I guess Nirmalla will also speak to it. In our initial conversations, Nirmalla was very clear to speak about NAMDEVCO's quality assurance with regards to farmers who are part of their registry, and what NAMDEVCO does to educate these farmers in terms of the right types of fertilizers to use and the best methods for them to grow their produce. So, I mean, granted, no system is 100%, but there's a level of confidence that through the NAMDEVCO processes and the guidance they give to the farmers, that the food that we are going to be more or less presenting or showing options to the athletes would have been grown in the proper standards.
All right, and Nirmalla, I ask you to jump in on that thought, please.
Like, it's actually one of the things that I wanted to talk about next to contribute to. It's called food safety and reduction in post-harvest losses. And at our farmers markets, the programs that we have instituted with our farmers, they are heavily monitored. They are monitored, for the minimum once per month or once per 6-week rotation. There are records on the agronomic practices of each of the farmers that visit the farmers market to offer their produce for sale. We have strict regulations and policies with respect to what is offered for sale. And we have taken an initiative to ensure that our farmers are educated on how to treat produce to reduce post-harvest losses. This equates to maintenance of the basic nutritive demands that your body have on the foods that we consume. So by reducing our post-harvest losses, we maintain the nutritive value of the foods that's coming to market. And that's why we have farmers markets. We have approximately 9 right now. Our goal is to have about 15 farmers markets in communities in close proximity to all communities, all residential areas, so that the foods that are coming to you would have traversed short distances from the farms. They would have suffered minimal post-harvest losses because of whatever stress factors that were placed on them, and that you are in a position to get fresh, nutritious, safe, and high quality local produce available on a weekly basis or on a demand basis, depending on the relationships that you want to develop with the farmers. It also creates the opportunity for education, educating the consumer on understanding what you eat and why you eat. And I would like to encourage everyone to visit our farmers markets. It's such a wonderful experience, the exchange of information. And we see that, getting our athletes involved, working with SporTT, there can be so much more education that can be exchanged between farmers, between consumers, between our athletes, and the wide variety of persons that our athletes are in contact with to promote and support local food and health and nutrition.
And I like the fact that both of you consistently speak about education as well as building communities and relationships. Joseph Remley says that houses in areas are very different from homes in communities, and being able to build that relationship with the person who provides your food. And you may even we're going back to pawpaw. So looking at the fact that someone may not want them ripe, they may want them a little greener because that might help break down the meat so you're able to access nutrients in a different way as opposed to eating the ripe ones and being able to have those kind of conversations. And I actually want to go back to you, please, Kairon, in terms of being able to say we have the capacity, we can do it here. Because sometimes it's a knock saying that we have to go elsewhere to get this sort of nutrition, to get this sort of training. Does this partnership help to kind of remove that block in terms of that perception?
Yes, I definitely think so. And from a sport nutrition standpoint, you often find that when you look at charts that if you go onto the internet, it's always populated with foods that come from other countries. So this now gives us an opportunity to use our sport nutrition professionals, because we do have in Trinidad and Tobago, and that's another thing that we need to impress upon the population, that we do have a cadre of young, bright professionals who are able to bring that knowledge. So as I was saying, with regards to the foods and the nutrition, we now have an opportunity working with NAMDEVCO to understand the nutritional components of the local foods, assisting the athletes in the development of meal plans and so on. So then all their nutritional needs are met by healthy, homegrown foods, and now allowing them to perform well and do the country proud.
And hopefully this is something we can even take further. So in terms of like those charts, instead of seeing an apple, we see something like A for avocado, although they might find it under Z or Z for Zaboka. But in terms of doing more with less though, this partnership, I think it spans, it moves beyond SporTT, it moves beyond NAMDEVCO. Because if people can use this as an example to see how we can have partnerships and do more with less, what can that mean for further interest, further government organizations? What can we do with that, Nirmalla?
We can expand this significantly into looking at opportunities for export of our value-added products. Many times, great ideas are born in conversation between farmers and consumers. And we always find that someone has an idea, someone has a product, and there is a growing demand for it. It stimulates the small and medium entrepreneurial ability of our customers, of our buyers, of our farmers. Sometimes we see incidents where farmers have grown into entrepreneurs, they've left the farm, they're now into value-added processing, they're now into packaging, they're now into food safety. So they've just grown from their component, and these are some of the opportunities. It also lends itself opportunities for export of these niche products, these unique local items into regional and international markets. It also lends itself to research and development opportunities for our students, our universities, and which translates back into commercial opportunities for our industrial manufacturing sector, especially the food sector, where we are able to come up with unique items and ideas, products that do not necessarily compete with international products.
And on that note, I want to make a plug. I want to make a plug for NAMIST. You go on NAMDEVCO's website and you see what fruits are available, what produce is available, what is the average going rate for it. And I had a friend who was asking about guava, but he didn't see it. But we'll see if that comes up shortly. But with 20 seconds to go, Kairon, you have the final words.
Yes, I just want to say, this is a very exciting initiative. I'm excited to see what happens. Nirmalla and the team, they know a lot about agriculture, and there's going to be a lot of benefit. So, DK, I hope you have us back to talk about the successes of the partnership.
All right, and I want to thank you for the start of this conversation, Kairon Serrette and Nirmalla Debysingh-Persad. Thank you so much. And we want to thank you on behalf of the entire news team for joining us this evening. Have a good night.